Leeds, Leeds, Leeds.
Hello, welcome back to Imagine Not Being Leeds. This is the first episode of Ups and Downs. Something I've been wanting to do for a while, even before I started this channel. Mental health's a really tough subject to talk about. Not many people want to talk about it. People that do are very brave. Something I don't give myself credit for. Something I used to shy away from for many years. But now I don't, and I speak my truth and I speak my story, and everybody close to me sort of knows where I've been and where I'm at now, and I'll always try and remain truthful with the ones I love and people who are close to me, to make sure I never go back to the places I've been in previous years. So yeah, this is not going to be for everyone. I get that. It's a Leeds United fan channel, and every piece of me is a massive Leeds United fan, and I want to tie it in with Leeds United, because it's entwined in my story, and how I got over some of my dark times are through Leeds United as well, and through friendships and stuff like that. So it's I think it's very important to talk about these things, and I thought it'd be fitting for the first episode to just be me talking, so you can sort of gauge how I want the show to sort of go and work. It's something I'd like to do maybe every couple of weeks, once a month maybe. But obviously I need some people who are willing to come on and share the story. I mean, don't get me wrong, it's not all for views and clicks. I'm very happy if anyone watching this wants to message me privately on Instagram or whatever means necessary to speak if they are struggling, because I can't. I'll touch on this a few times. I can't speak highly enough of just opening your mouth and talking to someone. I never used any vices really. I've never been into drugs. I'm not a massive drinker. I've started drinking now for the final pint with the own Leeds bros, but I'm not a big drinker to be truthful. I've never really had any vices like that to sort of turn to when I'm struggling. I sort of just bury my head in sand and make other parts and other areas of my life hard, telling lies and stuff, and trying to hide the fact, of what's actually going on beneath the surface. And, you're telling lies, white lies really, just, are you alright? Yeah, I'm fine, when I'm not. And, when you finish work and you're pulling up into an empty car park and sobbing in car, and your missus wants to know why you're an hour late than you said you'd be, and just stuff like that. No major. Do you know what I mean? I try and be a good guy and a good example for my children, and yeah. So sometimes these things just take a hold of us, and you look in the mirror and you see a person you don't recognise. But yeah, like I say, I'd love it if I could get some people to come on. I don't think it'll be a massively regular thing once a week or anything like that, but maybe once a month, once a fortnight, if the demand's there and people want to see it and listen to the stories. And I think there's a lot of good can come out of just people hearing that they're not the only ones struggling, which when you're in that cycle you often think you are. So yeah, just I thought I'd mention that to start with. But yeah, so obviously I'm Matty. I've started this Leeds United fan channel, and it's been about 3 or 4 weeks now, and it's been amazing. I've absolutely loved it, and the friendships I'm making, only Leeds bros, and I spoke to Sean last night from Wilco's Whites, and many more. Joe Wayman, he gets me on his show regular now, and people messaging me on Facebook, a lad called Callum. There's just so many things happening now, and it's really exciting. So yeah, like I say, I'm really enjoying this page as it stands, and this would just be a nice show to have on the regular, really, if people want it. So yeah, a bit about me. I've got 4 children, 2 from previous relationships. So I've got a 15-year-old son, teenage. I can't even believe it. It makes me feel so old. But he's mint. He's hilarious. He's just proper character. I've got a 7-year-old daughter who lives in Durham from a previous relationship, and every other weekend I finish work on a Friday, and I get up to her and pick her up, and we have a foot weekend, and that's tough. It's a travel, but I wouldn't want it any other way. I try and make sure I don't miss any weekends, and I'm there for them in any way possible, really. And I've got twin boys as well, 5-year-old, and yeah, they're an handful. But yeah, I love them. I love them all to bits. And obviously, my wife, she's got a daughter from her previous relationship as well. So I've got a stepdaughter too. So we've got 5 between 2 of us. So we've got our hands full. We both work full time. One of the twins he's got autism. I don't know if that's right. Some people don't like to say, they've got autism. He's autistic or he's got special needs, however you want to word it. I ain't the most educated man alive, but yeah, he's on the spectrum, and he has, all his daily tasks that we take for granted, he struggles on. He's 5.5. He's a big lad. His diet's very one-dimensional, to say the least. He only really eats pork pies. He can't get him off that. He only eats breads. He only eats things at like room temperature. He won't eat anything hot. Yeah, he's a lot of challenges. If you don't lock a door, he'll be out. And I've had him hit road a few times and a few close calls, and it really puts you on edge. And that's something I really struggled with early doors. Going back to when I had I always call it my wobble. When I had my wobble, it was 2022 was probably the worst year. Obviously coming through COVID and stuff, and you become a bit more of a recluse as you had to, unless you were down in street. But yeah, and coming through that, and I felt all right, I suppose. I felt just like probably everyone else, sick of being cooped up and just trying to get on with things. But as we came out of that lockdown phase, and you were able to go out and do more stuff, I just found myself really reserved and reluctant to do it. I was cancelling. There were nephew's parties for his birthday, and I'd find an excuse for my partner at the time, but now my wife. I'd find an excuse saying I was poorly. I'd find myself faking illnesses to get out of situations, so I didn't have to go in social situations. I just didn't feel comfortable with, all with people that I love and I like being around, but I just couldn't face it. Or I'd use an excuse that where we were going weren't suitable for Jonah, who's my son with autism, and I'd talk my partner into I'll stay at home with him because it's just easier, and you can have fun and the other kids can relax without worrying. And I used that for a long time, which I now look back and I can't believe I did. But just at that time, I just didn't want to be around anyone. But yeah, like I say, we have a lot on, but so does everybody else. Juggling the house, jobs, money, the kids. It's a lot, I feel like I've got a weight of world on my shoulders sometimes, and I still have days like that. You walk in from work and your wife's had a bad day and kids have had a bad day at school, or the house is just chaotic sometimes when you walk through the door, and you've got to walk in, you've got to leave your troubles at the door and walk in like Superman, and I try and do that every day. I try and walk in and kiss my wife, pick my kids up and throw them around until it's bedtime. Sometimes that might only be an hour before it's bedtime, 2 hours, 3 hours if I'm lucky. Don't get much time with them because of work and things like that. But yes, some I've got better with. And it's not a fake smile, it's not a mask I've got to paint on now. It's as time goes on and you open up and you talk about your troubles, you find things become easier, and now I'm a person I'm sort of proud of to look in the mirror. I still have moments that I'm still a bit of a fat lad, but getting to the gym and stuff like that, which I know would really help my mentality even more. That's probably the only place I'm lacking is physically now. Now my head's in a good spot. I just can't really afford to take any more time away from my family. We're working and things like that. Like, this is my hobby now, doing this. Yeah, it's not an active thing. Having a fan channel talking about Leeds United, but it's something I'm really passionate about and really love. So yeah, everything else will have to sort of wait. As long as my family's all right and money's coming in to keep the wolves away from my door, so to speak, I'm happy. And obviously this is just a bonus. This, but yeah, like I say, going back to like 2022. Come out of COVID, I've feeling myself, really struggling to get to grips with family life, and the appointments we're having for Jonah, with finding out more every day about his struggles and researching it. We had, there was one occasion where he had like an absent seizure while we were out having a meal, and we had to get an ambulance out there that didn't turn up because it was bonfire night, and we had to rush him to hospital, and he stopped breathing, and there's all sorts of things that have happened that have put me on edge, and really worried me, and I find myself up all night researching CPR, just watching it over and over again to make sure if anything happens to any of my kids, things like that. When you have a bit of a traumatic moment and you just can't switch off from it, because I'm a massive overthinker myself, and I sit there in bed sometimes, or I used to lay up all night worried about every little thing that could go wrong, trying to do a risk assessment in my head, and how can I put it down. My notes were just full of things, if this happens I do this, if that happens I do this, and it was just trying to make sure all my family were safe, and it drove me mad, to be fair. I can't control everything, and it's that really out of control freak as such, but when it comes to your family, you feel like you've got to cover all bases, and I found that tough, really tough, in the early years of Jonah being diagnosed and all the worries. So that's always been something that's but he's thriving now. We're going through a process for going to a school that's more adaptive for his needs, and he has his daily struggles, but what a joy to be around, and he's one of the main reasons I'm smiling today. He's amazing. I've just put them to bed, the twins, and yeah, they've had a good day with me. So yeah, like I say, all my kids, I just love them all to bits, and it's just hard sometimes, especially as a man. A lot of us don't open up and, are you all right? Yeah, I'm fine. When you're not, but you just don't want to worry your partner, do you? You don't want to worry anyone around you. You take that, you harness that. That's our job as a man, in it. You feel like you can't speak, but I've learned now. I can, and my partner wants to speak to me. My wife wants to know what's on my mind, and when kids are in bed, we always have a chinwag about the day and any problems, and you just got to put your phones down and listen, and yeah, make sure they know you're there for them 100%. But yeah, that year, I remember coming home from work one day, and like I said earlier, I pulled up in a car park about 5 minutes from my house, and I'd made my mind up that day. I just couldn't cope, and I'd made my mind up that day that I'd had enough. I remember walking through some woods near my house, and I was looking for the perfect spot, I suppose, somewhere out of the way where no one would find me to do whatever I needed to do. And I remember vividly this lovely woman, she was walking a dog, and she stopped me because I was crying, and she just had 10 minutes, chat with me, and I just felt miles better for talking to someone like it was a total stranger. I don't know who she is to this day. I don't even know her name, but she just had 10, she stopped and she had a moment with me, and she walked me back to my car and made sure I was all right, and then I was on my way, and I went home that night and spoke to my wife about it and told her everything that I was thinking and everything I was going through, and it really all stems back to something that happened in my childhood that I'm not gonna go into detail on, but something that happened when I was really young that shouldn't have happened, and I put it in a box really, and didn't think about it, didn't talk about it with anybody, and it's something I've kept to myself for close to 30 years, and it all just bubbled out. It all just came bubbling out of surface that particular period of time in 2022, and to speak about it just felt wrong. I didn't know who to turn to, and then like I said, just this lovely woman saw that I was distressed and sort of came to my aid, and when I got home I just confessed everything to my partner, who couldn't have been any more supportive. We both cried, and she embraced me, she held me, and she, that moment there, I'll never forget it. To think you can't talk to someone it feels so real in your head that nobody wants to hear your problems, and sometimes it's embarrassing, and it's just not the case. Anybody who loves you, even people who don't love you, good people out there who don't even need to know who you are. You just need to talk if you're worried. It doesn't even have to be that, you might not think it's a big deal, but it'll just eat away at you day by day. And I got to a point where I couldn't cope anymore. You get to a point where you're thinking about stuff and you can't sleep because you're thinking about it, and it's just it just manifests itself, and it never goes anywhere unless you offload it. It just rots you from inside out. And say I was losing friends, I was lying to my partner. I distanced myself from everybody and made myself an island, all because I just didn't want to speak. I didn't want to be around people. I didn't want friends to. I didn't want to hear how good people were doing when I weren't doing good. I used to play five-a-side football. I played it from being 16 to only a couple of years ago when I stopped, and me and my friends, my friends used to have a bit of a joke, saying I was best footballer in Leeds, over 18 stone, which I weren't bad, to be fair, for the size of me. I was quite nimble for the size of me. I quite enjoyed it. And yeah, but like I say, I had my own team down there, and I was captain as such. I run the team we had down there for years, and I was always life and soul, and I always have been. I like to sing song and karaoke. I don't mind being in front of people like that, and all of a sudden I found myself turning up to football late just so I didn't have to have crack with lads before we played. I found myself subbing myself off for the last 5 minutes when forever I'd always want to be on end to try and get the winning goal. I'd sub myself off just so I didn't have to have crack with lads again after the game. It was appalling like how I got, it just weren't me. And that went on for a good 12, 18 months. And yeah, honestly, it just ate away at me. I can't even explain enough how it just grew day by day, and everything that was me as a person, everything, my wife fell in love with, were gone. I was a shell of a man. I really was. And I remember, after speaking to my partner and talking through it and feeling like the weight of the world had left my body, it really had. It left my body. And I remember talking, saying, I need to do something big now. I need to do something. I need a challenge. I've never challenged myself. I'm a sayer, not a doer. I've never pushed through and done anything. I've never achieved anything in my life. Yeah, I think I'm a good person. I work hard for my family. I've never achieved anything. I've never said, right, I'm going to do this and followed it through. So we decided to do a charity walk for mental health charity and his man club. Then we walked from Old Trafford, Scum, to Ellen Road in the November, I think it was, of 2022. And I didn't do any training for it. I said I was gonna, like I say, I'm a sayer, not a doer. I said I'd do it, and I didn't do any training. I think me and my wife did 1 7-mile journey, and this was a 44-miler. And yeah, we did it, and my wife did it, and her brother Josh did it, and we had a few friends. But the big step about that was I obviously wanted to raise as much money as I could for the charity. And obviously I'd gone through all this time of shying away from talking. In my job as well, I work on building sites. I'm a telecoms engineer, been doing that 18 years, and I found myself not being able to talk to, my line of work, I've got to speak to people, organise stuff, and, make sure work's getting done, and I found myself not being able to talk to people. Then all of a sudden, I've offloaded off my chest, and I'm wanting sponsors. So my partner says, why don't you knock up like a sponsor sheet, outline a little bit about yourself and take it in. And I actually wrote down a bit of what I'm talking about now, really opened up and stuck it all and give it to the site manager, and he stuck it all over site, like all over site. There were like 50 of these flyers in toilets, in canteen, all saying, I'm Matty, I work alongside you every day. You don't realise I try and put a face on, but I'm really struggling and I'm doing this. And the amount of people that come up to me and put money in my hand, donated, spoke to me about their problems, and even one of them, a lovely guy called Lewis, who's a massive Leeds fan, he jumped on it and he did walk with us, and we got chatting, and we've been friends ever since. And little stuff like that, it was just, I'd gone from not being able to talk to anybody, not even my best friend, to being able to put something on wall of a building site when the stigma is there. It's a manly environment, and you've got these people, scaffolders, roofers coming up to me and talking to me about it, and it was amazing. And that was a real turning point. And I did the walk. I had blisters on top of blisters on top of blisters, and it took me 17 hours, but I did it. It was really hard. The walk was unbelievably difficult. We took a bit of a wrong detour going through, I think it was Marsden, and we ended up doing about 2 miles extra, which was shocking. But yeah, it was one hell of a task, and to get to Ellen Road and have that joyful moment next to Billy's statue were unbelievable. A moment I'll never forget. I was so proud of myself for doing it, and we raised, I think, just over £1,000 as well for Andy's Man Club. So yeah, I'm you can see I'm buzzing actually talking about it, to be fair. I should do it again. It was a brilliant moment. But yeah, moments like that will live with me forever, and to do it with my wife as well. And you had moments while on that walk you were struggling, you were crying, and then you'd put a rocky songs on, and you'd push through pain barrier, and then you'd be crying again 10 minutes later. It was brilliant. It really was brilliant. So yeah, and obviously when it comes to Leeds United, I've always been a massive Leeds fan. I remember Yeboah days under Wilco. Like I absolutely love Tony Yeboah. My main fondest memories, because like I say, I sort of don't remember that much from me my young childhood. I feel I sort of like blocked bits out. I didn't, you know what I mean? What I didn't want to remember and stuff of certain things. So I really remember the O'Leary days for Leeds United. That's what's really made it. You know, I remember watching Champions League nights, listening to them on radio quite a lot as well while I was in bed, because I weren't allowed telly on past whatever time, I can't remember, but I'd listen to the second half on radio out before I fell asleep, and you know, just those moments were just unreal. And obviously, as I've become an adult, I've always wanted to have a season ticket for Leeds United, have a season ticket for Leeds Rhinos, go to every Olympic Games, go to every Wimbledon. I love all sports, and as you get older, you realise money don't grow on trees, and you can't do that. So, I come from a rugby family, so I've got no one in my family's into football really. No one's pushed me down the Leeds route. I'm from Leeds. I'm Leeds born and bred. But football weren't anything I really got pushed into. We were always rugby. It was more affordable for families. My mum and, you know, my brothers and just everyone all in our family were always rugby. So we used to do that. We used to get season tickets for Leeds Rhinos and go there. But yeah, I've always wanted to go to Leeds United games, and never really had an opportunity. I got older, money comes tight. You know, you start having kids, and CA season ticket prices are X amount, and you can't get tickets. And then it was only recently when I did that walk and I got friends with Lewis that he told me about the membership scheme, and you know, why don't you just go on your own? I never really thought about it. I just sort of assumed you couldn't get tickets, and the thought of going on my own, I never even thought about it, to be fair. But yeah, around that same time, like I say, I'd gone through it. I spoke to my wife about it, and my partner at the time, but now my wife, and I've done that walk, and I'm feeling a lot better about myself. My son's, you know, finding daily stuff better, a little bit better each day. You know, like I say, he's still not there yet, and we'll keep hoping he reaches his ceiling, and whatever that is. But yeah, that all accumulated then with that November signing up to be a member for Leeds United, and yeah, getting tickets, and I just didn't even think it was possible. But something so small, you know, I know people who've had season tickets 20 years, and sometimes I take it for granted. Oh, we're playing this weekend. Oh yeah, bloody hell, I can't be arsed. And I know people like that, and for me, every game I go to is just, honestly, it's like I've won lottery. The feeling it gives me when I'm at Ellen Road and match on together, and I can't even explain it. It's just so impactful on me. And like I say, I've literally now since, so what, we're going on 2 years now, 2 full years. It was like halfway through relegation season, which is mad, because I'm basically saying that going to Leeds United games has improved my mental health, like beyond any reasonable doubt it has, you know, which is crazy when we were getting thumped most weekends, you know. But yeah, I go to games, like it started, and I still do it now when I go to games, and I try to sit in East Upper just because I prefer the view. And the leg room as well, you got more leg room. I'm 6'2.5", I think, so I need that extra leg room. And I go and I sit next to 2 complete strangers every single game. And, you know, if I'm lucky, I met 2 new friends every game, as cheesy as that sounds. And I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, when I was going through my dark period, my best pal, Adam Priestley, I didn't really speak to him much, you know. He's one of them friends, you know, I've had periods of times through my life where it might have gone 2 or 3 years where we haven't seen each other that much, but, you know, he's like my brother. His mum and dad are like my adopted mum and dad, you know. It don't really matter. And yeah, he didn't really know what was going on with me. I opened up to him, told him I was going to start going to games, and all of a sudden I'm meeting him every home game then at the Dragon for a pint, or, you know, if I'm not drinking, a glass of pop, bottle of pop, or whatever, while he has a couple, and, you know, and we walk down to games together, put world to rights, have a chat. I go my way, he goes and sits in Cop, where he used to sit with his granddad, who passed on a couple of years ago, bless him, and he sits there, and then we meet up again at the clicky graffiti wall. Always give him a big hug, whether we win or lose, and then we walk up together, and it's giving myself that moment, you know, those few hours to myself. You know, we've got a hectic life, and everybody has. We've all got something on, and I think sometimes you just need that something for yourself. And I found that through Leeds United. You know, like I say, I've always been. I'd say I'm the biggest armchair fan in the world. Honestly, I live, breathe, sleep Leeds United. Everything, you know, YouTube content. All I do is watch Leeds United. I know when, you know, Matteo Joseph goes to the toilet, or just about, you know, I like to know everything about my club. I love it, and I always have done. So now to be able to go to games, every home game, especially, honestly, it's like a dream come true. And I know it sounds sad, but like it's just done something to me, and it's really spurred me on into feeling happiness again. And all of a sudden, I'm getting out there. I've got something to look forward to. I come home and nothing. You know, when you go through a period of time where you're not finding joy in anything, your kids, your wife, anything, you have to cling on to something, you know, and talking, getting my thoughts out, and something simple as going to Leeds United game has totally turned my whole world around, and now, you know, a smile from one of my kids, whichever one it is, you know, any at 5, and it just makes me day, you know. Everything now that I didn't think I had to live for is just at front of my, it's just in front of me. It's just there, and I can't believe where I was in my life. You know, only 2 years ago. It's so scary to think, you know, that I were ever there. I know what I was like before that, and I've always been life and soul and a really confident person. And it just got sapped away, and now I feel like I'm you know, I'm proud of myself again, and I feel like I've got something to give, whereas I didn't before. You know, I felt like everyone would be better off without me, and it's not the case at all. And anyone thinking something similar, you know, that just is not the case. A friend or a family member would rather listen to your problems than go to your funeral. You know, that's a fact. That is a fact. And whether it's someone you don't know, someone you know, just speak. I cannot tell you. It's better than any drugs, any drink, anything else you can take, just opening up. The weight of relief you get when you speak and tell someone what's going on in your head. And you think they haven't got time of day because everyone's got problems. Trust me, if they love you, they've got time for you. And they want to know. Trust me on that. They want to know. Like I say, they don't want to attend your funeral. They want to be there for you. And you know, I've got some brilliant friends, you know, and I pushed a lot of them away. And the ones I've got now, my circle's a lot smaller than it once was. And I'm really lucky who I've got. You know, I've got an amazing family, and a really good support network. Like I say, it's a small one, but that's even better for me. You know, even better, and I'm in a really good place now. I still have my moments, you know, when pressures get on top of you, money, work, everything, you know, because you can't control everything. It's something I'm having to learn. You know, you can't control everything. I try my best. Like I say, I really do live my life on a risk and method statement sort of basis. I'm always weighing up risks, looking at this, looking at that. Is everyone safe? And you know, it drives me mad sometimes. I massively overthink, but the fact I'm in, you know, a healthy headspace now, and I see the joy in stuff I should be seeing a joy in. When those dark moments do come and those tough periods come, you know, I know what to do now to get by, and it's just about being a team with your partner, looking after your family, and whatever you can't control don't really matter. You know, don't get stressed about stuff, you know, that's not worth stressing about. As long as you and yours are right and safe and happy, that's all you can really do, you know, in this world. And like I say, when Leeds United are losing, I'm just happy to be there. You know, I went to Wembley and I came out of there. I was last one sat in Wembley. The last Leeds fan sat. I watched all Southampton celebration. I sat there and I looked around and every single one had gone. I must have been in there 45 minutes after full time whistle, and I sat there and I just, you know, I was gutted. Don't get me wrong, I was gutted. I don't think you can be a Leeds United fan if you're happy they get beat at Wembley, but I was gutted. But then, I phoned my partner and had a big smile on my face coming out of the stadium. And my dream whenever to watch Leeds win at Wembley, it was to watch Leeds at Wembley, you know, like to have moments like that, you know, regardless of result, to be united with, you know, 40,000 fans or whatever it was, or when I got, you know, home games, to be united with 30,000 fans, and to know, you know, they've got you and you've got them, and you're all one entity, and all for the same goal of cheering that team you love on. I can't tell you how much, you know, Leeds means to me, and it's really helped with my psyche and me getting back to, you know, what I am as a person. And I love it. I absolutely love it. You know, getting these tickets for games, meeting my best pal. Like I say, I mentioned it a while back on one of Joe's fan show phone-ins as well, where every home game when I go on, I always FaceTime the missus and the kids. Obviously, if it's a late kick-off, 8 o'clock, kids are in bed, but I always FaceTime them when Marching On Together comes on, and we share that moment every home game. It's either just my wife or my wife and my kids, and if I'm lucky enough for it's an early kick-off and kids are in video, I tell you what, it's magic. Like, to watch your kids just, you know, fist pumping the chest, singing Marching On Together, you know, the emotion, the hairs up back in my neck, stand up or well up, you know, that emotion, and sharing it with them, you know. I'm lucky enough to have 2 tickets for the Plymouth game next week, and I'm taking one of the twins. I'm taking Theo with me for his first league game. He's been to a couple of friendlies, but obviously it's hard to get 2 tickets. But yeah, I'm in family stand with my son Theo, so I can't wait for him to see you know, like a league game where it'll be, you know, hopefully packed, for full attendance, and, you know, hopefully be a good result as well. So I can't wait for that, because he's fascinated with Leeds United and football, and they all are. They're all really buzzing that I'm doing this. They keep watching my videos, and my son Jonah keeps getting a pretend microphone and Imagine Not Being Leeds, and it's just top. It's just I'm just really happy, and I'm really grateful that I got through it, and I just want people to know you can too. And I don't know what else to really touch on. That's sort of me in a nutshell, really. I'm a simple man who had a massive wobble, and through opening up and talking to loved ones, got myself through it. Because ultimately, there's people who help you, there's things that can aid you, but you've still got to make that first step. You've got to. There's no two ways about it. You've got to be brave enough to, tell somebody, and then from that, lay the foundations, and then from that we can build into something beautiful and get you back to being what you were, or even better than you've ever been, which is what I want to do and what I'm striving for my family's sake, if not my own. So, if there's anyone watching this who's struggling, please talk. Whether it's down the channels of Samaritans or only Andy's Man Club, anywhere like that, or if you just want to send me a message, speak to your wife, speak to your mum, speak to your dad, speak to your brother, speak to your friend at work, speak to someone. Trust me, they want to hear about it. And lastly, if anyone's been touched by this enough where they think they want to come and share a bit of their story, I'd love that. I don't want this to just be, one video, one time for me, one episode, one of one, for the ups and downs. I'd love it if I can get someone on, ideally a Leeds fan who's been through adversity and come through the other side, or someone who's currently going through some stuff and doesn't know where to turn, just wants to offload. Whether that's on camera or off camera, I don't mind. And to be fair, they don't even have to be Leeds fans when it comes to mental health. We're all one, aren't we? There's no discrimination against anybody when it comes to mental health. We can all laugh and joke and have banter and stuff. But anyone really want to reach out, and it's just nice. It's nice to be able to touch on Leeds United as well. It's not a mental health podcast. It's a Leeds United fan channel, but I'm passionate about both equally. So I need to have a segment of my channel that has this and provides this sort of platform. And please, if anyone thinks they can speak a little bit like I have today, don't have to go into great detail, but thinks there's something there to help other people and they want to offload, please give us a shout. I'd absolutely love to have you on, and I can be another pal, can't I, at the very least. Thanks for listening, and I hope it's come across well. And please like the video. I'd love it if you could share this video around. Like I say, it's my new channel, Imagine Not Being Leeds, and I'm really trying to go somewhere with it. And it's an amazing thing to be able to connect with so many people, like-minded people, in the Leeds United sphere and hopefully beyond. So, thank you very much. Take care and look after yourselves. Goodbye.